Hey homegirls, welcome back to The Perfect Pursuit. I am here to do a book review. So it's not really a book review. What I'm actually going to be doing is like walking through a particular book that has literally transformed my life over a number of years. I just want to go like chapter by chapter and talk about it and share it with you guys, share the things that I've learned, share my story within this time as well, and allow you guys the opportunity if you want to read it along as well. I'm totally down to do so, but let's go again. Like, come on, I'm still messing up intros. Anywho, but let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. I've been super encouraged by you guys just watching my videos, commenting on my videos. I've reached 400 subscribers, which is super huge for me because I've just been being myself, and it's just cool to see like me have an authentic following in this area of just me sharing my life, sharing my spiritual life, my spiritual goals, and things that's been going on with me, sharing my relationship, just different areas. It's been super cool watching my channel grow in that way. Thinking about maybe doing a giveaway at like 500 subscribers. I don't know. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. And I also have some really cool brands to share with you guys. Honorable mentions real quick before we dive in. I do have on a Girl Plus God shirt. Feel free to go ahead and go on their website and get you some merch. None of these things are sponsored. I just enjoy things that I like and I like to tell people about them. I also have on some jewelry from Shop Harper Ray on Instagram, this necklace, these earrings as well, and also this bracelet. A lot of her stuff is super cute, affordable, tarnish free, all that good stuff. It's great. So it'll be super cool to like do possibly a giveaway. So if you're a brand, you want to connect, you want to partner with me to do a giveaway for my channel, I'm super down to do so. I'd love that. So anywho, let's go ahead and dive into our video. So today we're going to be talking about this book here. Ta-da! It is called Free of Me, and the book is by an author. Her name is Sharon Hodde Miller. I believe it's Sharon Hodde Miller. Make sure that you guys can see the book here. Mine is a little beat up. I've had her for a number of years. I've had this book for a number of years. I came across this book because I was having a conversation with a sister about growing in different areas of my life, selflessness in relationships, and how to learn to not make things about myself. And I found this, it was a devotional on the Bible app, and it was a small little piece of this book. And I read it, and that was the first time I felt super challenged in many of things that I've struggled with, whether it be vanity, whether it's giving myself to others, whether it's extending myself when I don't feel like I should have to. But ultimately just really learning to love like Christ. That's the best thing that I can say that this book does or did for me, and I hope that it does for you as well if you decide to tap into it. But it is fire. I don't know Sharon. I recently just followed her on Instagram because I'm just like, I need to follow this lady because she got my life together. Like seriously. And it ain't even all together, but I have a different perspective now on just how to extend myself to people in a way that I didn't before. A lot of times I would feel very just, I ain't even gonna get into it. We're gonna talk into it about when I get into my story, when I'm talking about this book. I'll share a little bit more. But we're gonna go ahead and start talking about chapter 1. So I definitely want to use these series to go through each chapter, sharing why, you know, kind of the basis of it, not too much because I still do want y'all to go get the book. But yeah, if you see me looking at my notes here, my iPad is here. I did have some notes just so I can stay on track because your girl loves to chat. So what I have down for this book here, I'm gonna read it to you guys. I said the focus of this book, and this is just my lens, is to combat a me-centered culture. With social media being at the forefront of our culture, it's difficult to feed our souls with what God tells us to be hopeful in. We tend to get stuck in a cyclic, unhealthy pattern of insecurity when our lives are filled up with just us. This culture tries to fill us up with self-help messages like put yourself first, invest in yourself, love yourself. And none of these comments are innately bad, but often they do not make room for Christ. Our insecurities are strengthened because of who God says we are, not social media. And I'm making social media a focus of this because I feel like it can be one of the more challenging areas to not make certain things about ourselves when it comes to likes and comments and being defined by those things. Instead, we should be defined by who Christ says that we are, right? So the title of the first chapter is called Mirror Girl, and I'm going to read just a short little quote at the beginning, and it says, "Are you looking for accolades? Are you looking for applause? Are you looking for approval? Are you looking for acceptance? Because that stuff will kill you. The devil will make sure you get all of that, especially early and especially young, especially early and especially young, so that you then collapse when you're unapplauded, when you're unapproved, when you're unaccepted, and when you're unwanted." That was a quote by Christine Kane. I don't know if y'all can relate to that, but I very much so can relate to that because I do have a platform on social media, and it's always difficult, and I have to consistently check where am I placing my value and my worth based upon whether it's interactions with other people, social interactions through social media. You know, a lot of time, not my lash coming off. Not my lash coming off, y'all. Anywho, these lashes ain't perfect. Your girl ain't perfect. Having a platform on social media, any platform, it doesn't matter what you do or what the following is, having a space in social media often finds us in a space of kind of battling with these types of challenging things. You know, what am I placing my worth in? Am I defined by my social interactions? Do I define myself by how liked I am, by the number of likes I get? You know, just things like that. I don't want to make it all social media because this is really just about life. But I know for me personally, that's something I have to keep in check consistently, being in this type of avenue. So I wanted to go through this chapter just in the same way that Sharon did, right? So in this first chapter, Mirror Girl, she shares about her life. She talks about her upbringing, the way in which she was growing up, and I want to do that and find this space to be vulnerable about my own upbringing because it is different from hers. And two, it may be possible that someone can connect to the way in which I was brought up or how I was as a kid, because all those things contribute to the way in which we are now, how we view ourselves, how we value ourselves, our self-confidence, things like that. So for me, growing up, very young, I was very shy, I was very quiet. I started wearing glasses at the age of 5. I was a teacher's pet. I was a straight A student. All of these things was how I defined myself. Like, okay, I was also an only child. A lot of areas in my relationship with my mother that was the expectation, was perfection. So anything less than an A wasn't good. I always had 1s in citizenship, never a 2. If I came home with a 2, I was probably in trouble. You know, I was that type of kid. I always placed my confidence in the fact that if I had nothing else, I was smart. I didn't necessarily grow up in like your typical Christian household. My mom, you know, was like, oh, I believe in God, but we weren't actively in the church or anything like that. I, though, always had a desire to go after my relationship with God, but I didn't necessarily always see the opportunities to do so in the space that I was in personally. I think middle school is when it kind of hit me about my insecurity about what I looked like. Like, I was like, oh, I'm not necessarily the cutest girl. You know, I still was wearing glasses. I was really insecure. That's when you start kind of having attraction to boys and girls and things like that. And I was like, oh, do boys even like me? I'm just the smart girl. You know, and I had friends that I loved, and I think that they loved me and enjoyed my company, but you know, it didn't always feel like that was enough to say that I had value. You know, I was the smart friend, but dang, sometimes I wanted to be the pretty friend or the cute girl or the whatever, or get attention in a particular type of way in middle school, and that just wasn't my reality. So towards the end of middle school, my mom ended up letting me get contacts in 8th grade, right? And I think that was the first time that I noticed I had colored eyes. And a lot of people noticed that. Once the glasses were out the way, they were like, oh, you have hazel brown eyes. And you know, and then I started placing my confidence in that, like, okay, I'm smart and I have colored eyes, beautiful, awesome, you know, that's enough for me. Necessarily beautiful, I was like, wow, there's another attribute about myself that people admire outside of just the fact that I'm smart. And so I was okay with that, so I thought. So then transitioning into high school, ooh, let me tell you something. So Sharon kind of talks a little bit in the book about like when she realized that her self-confidence just was not there. That was definitely starting high school for me. I went to Cass Technical High School in Detroit. Go Green. Is it even Go Green? So I also also went to Michigan State, so I'm not sure. I know Michigan State's go green, go white, and Cass has the same colors, but at Cass, did we say go green? I don't know. If you're from the D, if you're from the city, you know that Cass Tech carries a particular reputation. It is known for having some of the most smartest kids in the city, but in a more shallow way, Cass Tech was also known for having the pretty girls. So going to Cass, I was just like, this is different. Going to a school with the smartest kids, smart wasn't enough no more. And so I think at that time I desired to have confidence in a different area. I wanted more now. Now I wanted to be a little bit more multifaceted. Yes, I was a cheerleader. Prior to that, I danced, I did gymnastics. Yes, I did all of these things, but in my mind, all the kids did that. So in high school, what I latched onto was a dance team that I joined. And I loved Ladies of Distinction. I can't sing its praises enough for all that I learned being a part of that dance team, all that I learned from our dance coach, and even the ways in which he taught me how to be a woman. I learned so much, and I really missed it. So I was a marching band dancer, and a lot of the aspects of being a dancer, and we were very prestigious. We always won competitions. We were just good. We were just fire. And a part of that though came kind of playing a role of exclusivity. You know, you have to be kind of like untouchable, because when you're the best of the best, you want to carry yourself in a particular type of way. So that's how we did. We couldn't talk to people outside of, we couldn't talk to people in other marching bands. You know, we had to wear heels to school. We had to always have our hair done. Makeup had to be on point. You know, those types of things. And so that was the image that I embraced becoming a part of that dance team, but then that transferred over into my everyday life, where I created a sense of false confidence about myself that people believed. People believed it. I think that even I believed it. To be honest, it was really just a level of self-made false confidence that was created in that. And that was of no fault the dance team that I was a part of, but it was just something that I embraced. I ended up becoming the captain of that dance team. And so therefore that even came with other expectations as far as how I needed to carry myself. I started wearing heels to high school. I dressed up every day. I wore jewelry. I had my hair done. You know, I wasn't the richest girl. Like that was another thing I was insecure about too. Like I didn't have a lot of money. And I went to a school with kids who had carried designer things, and that wasn't me. And I'm like, nah, I ain't got money, but I know how to make something look good. You know, like I never spent a lot, but I knew how to pick certain things to make it come together to where it looked like I may have spent more than I did. But I never did, because I was in high school and broke and poor, which is so silly, because it's just like, actually nobody was really spending their money, and we still insecure about what other people got. I know people don't want to say it. I know y'all want to say it, and y'all want to make it seem like everybody just hating on you. But sometimes people ain't hating, they just keeping it a buck. A lot of times people are carrying themselves literally with that in mind, that I'm better. And so I'm moving in a particular type of way. It ain't always just what other people think. I'm just saying that, I'm just putting it out there now. Imagine, ooh, I want to build my confidence up in this way. You finally, you know, gain up this form of confidence that you now want to be identified as. And then when people call you on it, it's like, they don't even know me. And it's just like, well, how they gonna get to know you? You don't even speak to nobody. Like, and it sometimes takes for us to like gain our own sober judgment, you know, through Christ, to be able to see that everything just ain't about you. And another thing is, a lot of times some people are just broken. Sometimes people are just projecting insecurity. And those things, again, are still not about us. Sometimes we think that person is insecure because we came into space. No. You're not that sweet. You're not that relevant in people's lives all the time to where they're just insecure because you stepped in the room. And that's assuming that they want what you got. That's not the case for everybody. So moving into the next part of the chapter, she starts talking about this thing called the mirror reflex. And I'm gonna read my notes here. You see me looking down. So she said, looking at our reflection is a human reflex. When you walk past a mirror, maybe even a window, a body of water, you can't help but to like look at yourself. It's naturally a reflex. And she describes the mirror reflex as the tendency to treat people as a mirror of yourself, treating people as if they are a reflection of us or our self-worth. It says affirmation and praise is associated with positive self-image, and criticism or rejection gives us a negative self-image. So essentially using our relationships with people and how they react to us and saying that those are the things that define us versus realizing who God says that we are and allowing his view of us and his standard for our lives to guide what we do and who we are. And the realities of this mirror reflex is that it transforms all areas of our life, work, relationships, possessions, into mirrors that reflect us. Look at how much stuff I got. Now I'm valuable. Look at this position I have at work. Now I have value. Now people see my worth. Ooh, in these relationships, I'm such a good friend. They value me. When in reality, those things have peaks and valleys. And if you're riding with the peaks and the valleys, ooh, I'm high up. Look at this promotion I got. Ooh, I haven't been promoted in a few years, so I'm not valuable. We can't ride with the peaks and the valleys like that, because how God views us remains constant. God's view and his perspective on who he calls us to be is consistent no matter what happens on this side of heaven. One of the things that I love, and I actually posted this quote on my Instagram recently, and it says, when we put anything before God, it is only a matter of time before it turns on us. When I tell y'all that pricked me so much, I had to share it. I couldn't let up, because I'm like, man, anytime we start to do this thing, even when it's ourselves, it becomes an idol. We start to idolize ourselves, idolize our lives, idolize the things that we have. Where is there room for God in that? There isn't room for God in that. It isn't. There isn't any room for God in it. So when we make everything about ourselves, our mission, our purpose, our job, all of these other things, where is the mission? Where is the mission? We are here to teach the word, make disciples, baptize people, and teach them to obey everything it is that Jesus has taught before he left this earth. Like, where is God in centering everything around ourselves? Idolatry, there is no room for God in idolatry. And so when we continue to live for ourselves, it's literally only a matter of time before these types of idols take over us. They start to consume us. It starts to become our only focus. We become burdened. We become insecure over things that God never said that we could or should have, or wasn't even about us to begin with. You know? I really hope y'all are rocking with me. Because I just really went off on a tangent. I'm now able to reflect and to see how I was using all of these different life experiences to make up and define me being a particular type of way, right? And then now I'm able to see, as I'm now a Christian and walking with God, the things that need to be sharpened in my own character, where they came from. And so there is something different that I should be doing now that I'm trying to reflect the light of Christ in my interactions with people, because that's not how Christ was moving with people. He wasn't unapproachable and avoidable. He was mad approachable, very sitting with sinners at the table, and he could have placed himself on a pedestal, right? And people wanted him to do that. They wanted to say, go tell them people not who you are so they get it together. Like his disciples was pushing him. John the Baptist pushing him. When is your time that you're gonna come tell these people that you're the Messiah? You know, a lot of people are pushing him to kind of place him on a pedestal, and in reality he wanted to bridge that gap. For anybody who may be struggling with that like I did, what does it look like for you to bridge the gap? Don't worry about what you're not doing. What are you doing? Because if we're meant to be growing closer and closer to Christ, and we know that this walk ain't about us, and love your neighbor as yourself, what are you putting in? What are you investing? And if it's just about you and I ain't doing nothing and I'm not, then what are you doing? Because the goal is always to be moving toward a particular place, step by step. If you ain't making no steps, you're not making progress, you're not growing. Anywho, but that's a whole nother story, and that was something I had to check myself about and repent of. So overall, that was kind of the first chapter. I hope that y'all can kind of get an idea for where the book is going based upon like some of the things that I shared. The last thing I want to share is the focus verse that she gave at the end. And it says, it's in Psalms 139 verses 23 through 24. And it says, search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. So good. I pray that you guys have the opportunity to just kind of marinate on that verse, because a lot of time when we are being challenged, I know for me, being challenged in this way and being stretched to really dive deeper into what's really going on and reflecting on our past, sometimes we can be in denial, right? With ourselves, but like people say, God knows your heart. And so ask for him to search your heart and ask him, what areas of my life am I making about me? And how can I reshape them to be more about you? I want to share one last thing before you guys go. I recently started leading a small group. It's called Christ in Healthcare. It's through my friend's community. It's called A Radical Relationship. And I'm going to kind of pop in here details to my friend's website, but she has a community. It's called A Radical Community, where women who love God have the opportunity to come together to be able to share and learn and grow together. And so feel free to join the Facebook community. If you just look up A Radical Community, you should be able to find it on Facebook. And if you want to join one of the small groups, mine is Christ in Healthcare. There's a small group on grief. There's a small group being led for those who are looking to just learn the Bible, kind of the basics and starting out in your relationship with God. And then there's another one on codependency, and then there's going to be another special one, I think, but I'm not going to say what it is. Maybe we all praying about it. But when the time comes, I'll definitely share that one with you guys. But again, thank y'all so very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please comment down below, like the video, subscribe, share it with people you know. I love talking about or just sharing my life with people, and I feel like I ain't even about to go there, y'all. I ain't even about to go there. Anywho, I just be feeling like I'm in my bag, you know, when I'm talking about my relationship with God, with other women or men, if men are watching it. But I see that my demographic is mostly women. But yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Please come back for another video. I'll be starting up a couple other series. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, y'all. I am doing my absolute best. Thank y'all so much for loving on me, encouraging me, and all of those different things. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.